FastCast movies. Well, here we are. We have arrived at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So I have to say, this is a movie that I went to see in the theaters with my dad, because it felt like, oh my goodness, they're making an Indiana Jones movie again. We should totally see that. What could possibly go wrong? And honestly, I think it's the first and potentially the only time I ever remember walking out of the theater after going to see a movie with my dad and being deeply disappointed. Now, that having been said, on rewatch, I'm feeling a little bit more charitable towards this movie than when it first came out. Mainly because, especially watching all four of them sort of in close proximity like this, some of the overall sort of themes of the series and how it all shakes out become a little bit more apparent. And what I honestly think is that its main problem was how long it took for it to get made. If this movie had been made right after, or a couple of years after Last Crusade, or if they had continued making Indiana Jones movies every couple of years until we got to this one at the same time, I don't think it would have been treated quite as harshly by critics. Now, that's not to say it doesn't have a lot of problems, but what it is to say is that I don't think it has many more problems than the other ones have. And it's up to the viewer to decide if they consider them to be problems or not. Watching Temple of Doom and Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark, you realize that these movies have always been cartoons. And so some of the main complaints that were leveled against Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a result of like, oh, it's ridiculous to think that he could be in a refrigerator that got nuked across the test site. Or it's ridiculous that there'd be these monkeys that would be able to do all this weird stuff flipping through the air. And the fact is, there's stuff like that in all of the movies, really. Not quite to that extent. Like, I get it that this kicked it up a notch, which is why, again, I think that had we been seeing some of these other indie adventures that he alludes to in this movie and watch them happen, like, through the course of World War II and then the beginning of the Cold War, I think we would be treating this movie more charitably. I do honestly think it is still worth watching. Still the weakest of the four, but it's fun to watch. And I know some people don't like Shia LaBeouf. I like Shia LaBeouf. So the final ranking for me of the four Indiana Jones movies, number one, Last Crusade. Then maybe like an inch below it, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think those two are really, really close. Then Temple of Doom. Then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And they're all on Hulu right now, so give them a shot. FastCast movies, see ya! Hey, thanks for watching the FastCast. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mr. J Handle. And remember to check back, because I do this a couple times a week. Thanks a lot, everybody. FastCast!